So what's going on guys, Kade is here and welcome back to a brand new video. For today I will show you the best Berserker PVE build in Lost Ark. So in this guide I will show you what abilities and awakening skill you want to get. Then I will explain what are the best engravings and cards to use for endgame content. And then lastly I will show you the best gameplay and even which stats you need to allocate for PvE, so you would be able to get the best results and highest damage possible and much more. So no matter how low or high level or gear score your character is, you can easily use this build and follow this step-by-step guide. So if all this sounds interesting to you, then let's get right into it. So the Berserker is a class with high burst and large AoE skills. The damage compensates more than enough for the long cooldowns and low mobility during the leveling and dungeon farming pace. He can even obliterate massive amount of mob groups in just few seconds. And then at the endgame, because of our Mayhem engraving, we will be able to enter or exit the burst mode whenever we want. While we lose about 20% crit rate in the mode, we will enjoy a increased attack and movement speed and a huge 65% damage reduction, which will be basically enabled 24/7. So if you're looking for the best leveling, raiding, chaos dungeon or any other PvE content build, then this is the one for you. Okay, so then let's move over to the build itself, and these are the skills you want to have. So for the first ability we have the shoulder charge, and we use just 4 levels to unlock the excellent mobility, and then for your rune you want to get the quick recharge. Then for the second ability we have the hell blade, and we spend 10 levels to select the leap, deadly blow and earth flip. And then for your rune you want to get the gale wind. Then for the next one we have the strike wave ability, and we use 10 more levels to get the wave, limit break and earth flip. And then for your rune you want to get the gale wind. Then for the fourth ability we have the red dust, and we use once again 10 levels to unlock the quick preparation, vital point strike and red wave. And then lastly for your rune you want to get the bleed. Then for the next one we have the tempest slash ability, and we use this time just 4 levels to select the quick preparation. And then for your rune you want to get the overwhelm. So then for one of the last abilities we have the finish strike, and we use 10 more levels to get the tenacity, weak point detection and kill confirm. And then for your rune you want to get the gale wind. Then for the 7th ability we have the chain sword, and we spend just 4 levels to unlock the vital point strike. And then for your rune you want to get the gale wind. And then for the last and final ability we have the sword storm, and we use our last 10 levels to select the quick preparation, weak point detection and flame storm. And then lastly for your rune you want to get the overwhelm. Then as well after level 50 for your awakening skill you want to get the Berserker's Fury. But if you haven't reached level 50 yet, then here is a specific guide on which abilities you should upgrade first while leveling with the Berserker. And then on top of all this, focus on equipping as high item level gear as you can. And then at the end game you should have 860 crit and 740 swiftness. But again, if you haven't reached this point yet, then try to have around 60% stats into crit and 40% stats into swiftness. Okay, so then the way I would recommend to upgrade this build is at level 50 you will get around 250 points. So here is how your build should look like. But then by doing more and more endgame content you will get more points. And then at the absolute endgame, this is how your build should look like with all the 412 skill points. So at the start you use the 252 point build, and then by leveling up and completing quests you will get more points. So just keep on improving your skills and getting higher tier runes as well. So then let's move over to the engravings, and you want to get the Mayhem. This is the most important engraving as it is a core part of this build. You only need to reach the first level for this engraving, as all levels provide a flat bonus of 50% attack speed, 50% movement speed and 65% damage reduction. The only stat that changes is the increased damage at greater levels. So then the second engraving is called the Master's Tenacity, and this will complement the Mayhem engraving incredibly well, as you are naturally going to have less than 50% HP, and this is a powerful damage engraving that increases your outgoing damage with no downsides. So then the next one is called the Cursed Doll, and this engraving offers a flat damage boost. The healing penalty that you will receive will not matter for this build, since using the healing potion is enough to restore your maximum HP to 25%. Then for the fourth engraving, you want to get the Grudge, and this is a more advanced engraving that is recommended for tier 3 content. This Grudge is the most efficient engraving against mobs and you will get your damage increased, but in return you will take 20% more damage. So when you get to the very end game content, which is called the tier 3, get this engraving, and before using it, get it to at least level 2, because at level 1 this engraving is not that efficient. Then the next one is called the Raid Captain, and this is a really good engraving if the player is running a high swiftness. At 140% movement speed, the Raid Captain provides a 18% increased damage output. And then for the last engraving we have the Mass Increase, and like the name implies, this will increase our attack power with a penalty of 10% reduced attack speed. And we easily mitigate the penalty by one of our skills using the Chain Sword ability and selecting the Swift Attack Prep Tripod. So then in a quick summary, I would recommend to get the top 3 engravings first and then the bottom 3. And then last but not the least, let's move over to your cards, and you want to get the Shandy, Azena and Ainana, Nineveh, Vey, Baldur and Tyrane. In general, these cards are an endgame system for maximizing your character, so you don't have to get them right away, but these specific cards will optimize your damage output in PvE even more. I did bunch of testing for this build and this was the best and most optimized card set. Okay, so then moving over to the gameplay, and if you have played this build while leveling, you will be very familiar with the skills, so I will just try to give you a short description. So the Chain Sword ability gives us 2 purposes. The first is a self buff and the second one is a counter skill. So with this ability you do damage while giving your character 50% crit rate and 20% attack speed. Then the Red Dust ability swings your sword, inflicting damage to the enemy, and on successful hit making the target 30% weaker for 6 seconds. Then the next ability, called the Hell Blade, is one of your highest damage skills, and it can be used as a finishing blow skill to your enemies, and as well not only you do AoE damage but as well throw the enemy in the air, inflicting even more debuffs. Then the next ability, called the Strike Wave, is a simple damage skill that deals 4 consecutive strikes in a straight line. Then the next 2 abilities, called the Finishing Strike and the Tempest Slash, are really good stagger skills that stun the enemy and deal good damage at the same time. Then for one of the last abilities we have the Sword Storm, and the skill is only used because of his third tripod called Flame Storm. This gives us bonus damage when we are below 50% HP, which for our build is always active. And then for the last and final ability we have the Shoulder Charge, and this is a very simple but nice gap closer ability that comes in handy with our dodge as well. And then lastly, our awakening skill is called the Berserker's Fury, and as our build doesn't require to fill up the Fury meter, all we have to do is charge up our awakening skill, and each charge will increase our damage. So then when we use the skill at the last charge, we will deal massive amounts of damage and gain debuff immunity at the same time. And this ability is usually used on big endgame bosses. Okay, so then for your general skill rotations, I will give you 2 options. The first option will do short damage and stagger the enemies. So first of all you want to use the Red Dust, then the Finish Strike, then the Tempest Slash, and finish it off with the Sword Storm. Then for the second rotation we have a pure DPS option, and you want to use the Red Dust, Finish Strike, Sword Storm, and finish it off with Hell Blade or the Strike Wave. So the general idea behind these rotations is by using first of all the Red Dust skill, and that will make our enemies take more damage for our next attacks. Then the Finish Strike does even more damage and gives us a push immunity. And then the rest of our skills just do really great AoE damage or stagger the enemy. So now in my last and final conclusions for this build. By using the Mayhem engraving we free ourselves from the annoying Fury meter, and this means that we can immediately enter the burst mode and enjoy an instant 50% increased attack, 50% movement speed and 65% damage reduction. Then as well, always remember, no matter what skills you use, before attacking use the Red Dust, and this will increase your damage for the next 6 seconds. And this is a very good buff. And then for the endgame content, most Berserker skills have high stagger, and you can contribute significantly to boss mechanics. And then lastly, don't forget, for this build to work, you need to first of all get the Mayhem with the Master's Tenacity engravings, and that's about it. So I really do appreciate everyone for watching guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions, feedback, or other good Lost Ark PVE classes that you would like to see in the next video, then feel free to leave your comments in the comment section down below. If you're interested in the top 3 best PvE builds or instead the top 3 best PvP builds, then check the links in description or just scroll through my channel. And while you're doing that, please click like, subscribe and enable that notification bell, so this way you could support the channel and you won't miss any more amazing content from me. With all this said, you have an amazing day and I'll catch you in my next video, so take it easy, peace.
Yo, I ain't here for the